Hello, everyone. Welcome to TBC You and Me. And today we have Dr. Joana Suta with us, and we are going to discuss in detail about gratitude. As you remember, our first episode on the podcast was about gratitude. So we want to learn more deeply about what Dr. Joana thinks about gratitude. Welcome, Joana. How do you think that today you're going to contribute to the society, going to help them, or how is it going to be?
Thank you, Aparna, for inviting me today. So as Aparna introduced, I'm Dr. Joana Suta, and I'm a lecturer in personality at BPP University here in London. And I'm strongly interested about gratitude and how gratitude is helpful to each of us on cultivating gratitude every day, daily basis, how this is important on our well-being. So, as I mentioned before in our conversation that we had before, so gratitude is it's something essential that we need to cultivate in our everyday life. So personally, as psychologists, I strongly believe that we have the responsibility as psychologists to contribute in people's well-being, community well-being. And but before doing that, we need to practice and to cultivate this in ourselves. For me, gratitude is a philosophy of life, which personally I try to apply in my everyday life. So this with not just with people, because normally from a common sense point of view, gratitude can be understood as something that we are grateful to other people for action that they have done, for good action that they have done to us. But personally, gratitude is something more complex. It's something more deep. It's something that in my view, involve also some aspect of regarding our spirituality. So cultivating our spiritual aspect,
Right.
Which is essential because we are not just, as we may know, we are not just mind and body. We are also spirit, and so gratitude, of course, in my view, has to do also with this aspect that impact in all these other two aspects. So in the whole
Right.
our existence and in the whole ourself, because it strongly relate also with other aspects of well-being. So physical well-being, mental well-being. People that normally from the different studies in psychology, people that are high in gratitude, they also have a better well-being, not just like physical well-being, but also mental well-being, are more flexible and more prone to do complex tasks, to be persistent. So it's like, as I said before, for me, gratitude is a philosophy of life. And yeah, so
you need to say, like, for example, as I said, like gratitude, in simple words, people say it's thankfulness. So I usually believe like there must be, and when I read like different studies and everyone, so people have different definitions of gratitude, like how they follow it, how they try to incorporate it in their lives. Like, for example, I do a simple ritual for myself, particularly for gratitude. Like, I have a journal, and every morning I write like 5 things I'm grateful for. Maybe like, I'm breathing, I have this roof on my head, I have food in my fridge, I'm really thankful. So do you have something like this kind of a ritual that just makes you feel, okay, I'm really grateful for this life?
Yeah. So I have still to refer, even it was not my intention, I still have to refer to scientific research. So normally gratitude is a multifaceted concept. If we have to think this from like a scientific point of view, it means that gratitude has not, as I mentioned before, and as you just now added with your example that you are practicing gratitude. So gratitude is it's a complex concept that has multiple facets. So it means that gratitude is not just being grateful to people's actions. Gratitude is also to be grateful to the beauty, and the beauty can be expressed, for example, in beautiful flowers, or listening to the sing of a bird, or seeing green. So it means that being able to breathe, or being able to see, or being able to walk, or being able to finish a job and to say to yourself, thank you very much for everything that you have done to myself. No, that I do this to myself.
Wow.
I tell to myself every time that I struggle and I do something. So gratitude is a very complex, let's say, orientation that we have normally towards life,
Right.
and has to do, as I say, with the philosophy of life, has to do with the meaning of the life, has to do with acceptance. So it's something very that has multiple layout.
Right.
And
Right.
yeah,
That's brilliant, actually. I never thought about it, like linking gratitude to beauty that you see around you. And that also brings up another concept, that try to see beauty in everything, because everything is actually beautiful, but you don't just notice it. So it makes you more embracing and accepting towards it. That's brilliant. I really love that. I'm going to do something about this as well. But I would like to know, I read somewhere that gratitude helps you reduce your negative emotions. And in some people, gratitude has helped in depression as well. So do you have anything that you might have come across in your journey so far about that?
so personally, I have to admit that me too, similarly as you, I do daily journaling on gratitude every morning or every day, to be honest. And I have to say it from my personal life experience that I see a lot of benefits, because it detach your attention from things that in our view don't go well, or even change the way that we we read things, as you mentioned before, to have a more positive. But it's not just more positive, because also the obsession about positiveness
Right.
can have some drawbacks. In my view,
Really?
it's there is also some drawbacks if people are just positive, because life offers you a lot of things. So in my view, the key point is acceptance.
Right.
So when you accept things, even things that normally apparently can be in a certain moment, you can be, because not every time we are ready to accept things that we can see in that moment as negative. But so, for example, friendships that don't go in a certain direction, or human relationship of different level, intimate or none. I personally try to practice the sense of gratitude in a more wide way, in the sense that to accept, even so, for example, we can have different moments of our life that maybe we don't achieve what we set to achieve, or things didn't went in a certain direction with certain people. We can get disappointed, and the idea is that to embrace all these emotions, because we are not just positive emotions. We cannot be all the time happy. We experiment so many emotions, uncomfortable emotions. And so I believe that the protective role of gratitude can be the cultivating the emotion of embracing all the emotions, to be grateful even for something that normally can be painful. So personally, in my life, I learned a lot from painful experiences. I could learn from different aspects of myself,
right.
a shadow, no? because to bring in the light shadow parts and taking care of shadows, I think it's the most rewarding part of our life, and it's the part that we can improve, because if you have something in light, it is in light, and that's it, no? So we have opportunity of growth, and we have opportunity of being a better version of ourselves.
So true.
At the moment that we are able to bring in light and to accept our shadows, and this you can do only if you are grateful also to this part of yourself, because in the relation with other people, for example, when we feel uncomfortable and we feel this uncomfortable emotions about that other people solicitate in us.
So true.
It's a way of being grateful to the others and being grateful for bringing attention to these parts. Of course, I believe that gratitude also is linked with compassion, because it's to be compassion towards others, but first of all to be compassion towards ourselves.
True.
And yeah, so these are my
So like basically charity begins at home. Like be nice to yourself first, then you can be nice to other people.
Absolutely.
That's really great. Yeah. So as you just said, like, do you think that gratitude can help you cultivate these emotions of compassion and acceptance? And if so if gratitude, we have to practice it. Does it come automatically, or do you actually have to rewire your brain to practice gratitude every day to make it normal for you?
So if I have to base on like scientific studies, it seems that there can be some aspects that can be considered as a personality traits, and there are also studies about interventions when people have practiced gratitude, that gratitude can be cultivated. So it's always the idea, nurture nature idea, about this gratitude and emotion, that it is related to traits, or it's something that we can be cultivated. So I believe that maybe some people can have, naturally some inclination to be positive or to be grateful or so. But I strongly believe in my life experience, personal life experience, but also I had the opportunity to work with people as volunteer. So people that have mostly during the pandemic, there were different people from the community that they were like in emergency health mental issues. So I tried, of course, as I'm a psychologist, and that's this before being a profession, it's a mission. So it's a philosophy of life. So to share with other people the goodness that you learn from this subject, and you can share and multiply. So and so I suggested to different people to apply in their everyday gratitude, and I just could verify how the people that suffer from issues of depression or other more severe health issues, see a lot of improvement
with gratitude.
Applying every day the gratitude. So I just told them to do journaling of every day of gratitude, and of course there were also other interventions, but this was like an exercise. So I believe that asking people to cultivate for gratitude is not just the fact that they in a certain sense you intervene like reprogramming the brain,
Right.
but it's also a way of giving power to the people, because we normally, all of us has the power to heal ourselves.
Okay.
So because it is and so asking to the people to do a journaling, which is totally in their power and it is totally in their control.
Yeah.
It's a way also to solicitate other things, which is like self-efficacy and have self-control. So it means that my gratitude, it doesn't depend on the intervention of a psychologist, but it depends on my action. This is totally in my control. So I can do something by myself. And so it empowers the people, and it give back confidence. So because
that's really great. It's really interesting, as you said, that people can actually help themselves instead of looking up to help outside into psychologists or therapists or stuff like that. I was reading a book.
Sorry, Aparna. No, I just want to redefine. So I'm not saying that people should not receive help from other people, because there is, me too, I can have moments that I need for help, and there is no shame. There is no shame. So I don't want that we bring the idea that we do this by ourselves and everything. So we need others. We need others. So the idea of being grateful for the others, where is this related? It is related with the deepest fact, because gratitude is also considered as an adaptive form that bring collaboration, altruism, and all other stuff. So what I want to say is that, because just to be focused in what I wanted to say is that it is important when a person feel that he or she cannot make by himself to ask for help. There is no shame. So it's part of us. So we are in this world to give and to receive help.
Right.
So this is how can I say, it is totally strongly related to the human nature. We here are all interconnected.
Right.
And connectiveness is the essential part of the human being that belong to human being. We cannot live without each other. We need each other.
Yes.
So it is normal that if I need help, I need to ask for help.
So
because
true.
And feeling altruistic if I receive the help.
Right. Be grateful for it.
Grateful to it,
Right. It's
and
really
so it is deeply to human being to ask for help and to receive help, to learn from others and all this stuff.
What do you think stops, for example, teens and adults, like people like me who go to office and everything, they are having problems. They are stressed maybe, or having some other mental problems or something, but they hesitate to ask for help. Why do you think is that so?
I believe it's related with the idea that it is vehiculated in the society of, which is, in my view, very toxic, which is the idea of being perfect.
Right.
I personally, I am totally imperfect. I'm totally beautifully imperfect.
Awesome.
And once you embrace the idea of not being perfect and to be subject of doing mistakes.
Right.
And at the moment that you embrace this idea, which is always related with the idea that I originally say of being to accept yourself as you are. I think it's with this core idea of the society of being perfect, which is totally untrue. So it's a lie.
Right.
It's founded in a lie. And so, to be strong. So it is this idea of vehiculated idea in the society of being perfect, of being strong. But we are exactly, so I'm not saying that we should be all the time vulnerable or imperfect and so on. So of course we try to do our best. So this is, and it's morally we should be morally guided by this idea to do our best and
Right.
to discover every day a new best, so to strive for a better version. And
Right.
but at the same time, it is important to embrace our vulnerability, to be grateful about our vulnerability.
Right.
I started to learn about this in my life, so to accept my vulnerability, and it, of course, to be honest, it's a journey. I cannot say I arrived. I always discover something that struggled me and put me off, and I how can I say, it is important the journey and not the point that you arrive. So it's the beauty of this life experience of our life is the journey.
Right. So it's also, like, enjoy the journey and don't bother about the destination.
Normally, you bother about destination. You cannot lie. So I bother about destination, but what is the destination is? So
So true. Oh, this is a wonderful message, guys. You have to check for yourself today. As Dr. Joana mentioned, that are you living in that paradigm where you're looking to be, perfect every day and not embracing your vulnerabilities? Because you have to. And once you do, I guess life will be much better. Right, doctor?
Yeah, absolutely. Because normally we can use different strategies so for example, to laugh on ourselves in a good way, of course, and to joke about our vulnerability. Right. It's like to not take them so seriously, but not in the sense they have their own dignity, of course. Pain, all negative emotions, they have their own dignity because they are a source of information for us. They are a very precious source of information. So we again, about gratefulness, to practice gratefulness towards all this very negative emotion, imperfections, the so-called failure, which are absolutely very precious life experience. I'm at this point of my life experiencing so many life experience that, in other words, can be called failures. But I personally say that they are the most precious life experience that I had. So, and it is a journey, of course. I'm learning so much about myself. And
is it like, I always talk in my shows and everything, that once you join the dots back, it actually makes sense. Does it happen with you? When you look back, you're like, oh, okay, it happened for good, and I'm glad it happened.
To be honest, this is a very, let's say, interesting question. Last week, maybe it was, we had to do a seminar with my colleague on emotional intelligence and resilience, and he gave a task. So normally I was doing the emotional intelligence task and part, and he was doing the resilience part. And he gave a task about closed doors, open doors. So and we have to reflect about all closed doors in our life, what this brings to. And so I will consider all the closed doors, which in my case, they always brought to a bigger door. Right. And so, I am totally grateful to the life for all doors closed, because it pushed me to strive for a better clarity of what I want, who I am, what are my values. And so you go in a dimension that you never before imagined that you were going. And so this is beautiful.
Right. Oh, this is brilliant. Well, it's really strange, I was reading a book. Have you read Psychology of Gratitude?
No, not yet.
In that book, they say that people are losing the essence of it. Like, there are so many people who cannot really feel the emotion of being grateful because they are so suppressed in all other emotions that they have lost the capability to be grateful. Do you think that's true? Or what are your ideas about that? What do you think?
I don't know this. Normally, as I told you before, outside of the interview, I'm doing a project of research with my colleague Tamara Shengelia, and it is going to be on gratitude, one of the topics. But if I have to reflect outside the box, so outside of things reading, so and if I have to remember the old generation, our grandparents, that they were grateful of the bread, really of the bread, of the piece of the bread, because the piece of the bread in that moment was precious. It was they were people that lived the Second War, and after the Second War, then where it was issue with finding really the bread and have the stomach full. So normally we take things so for granted because we live in a world of really in a world of abundance of everything, and also of great stimulus about having more. I don't know of what having more, but having more. So this idea of having more, and this, of course, if you don't work on yourself, this brings to you in a sense of emptiness. So because you have the feeling that you don't have enough, but normally we already have enough. So having a room or having somewhere to live, having family members, having everything, having a light. So 30 years ago, 50 years ago, in some part of my country, they didn't have light. So having light, or I don't know, having oxygen enough to breathe.
True.
Which
So
is
true.
the act of breathing, taking and so. I personally, me too, I forget sometime, and this, of course, it's a gene that we lose to see. So for this reason, cultivating gratitude, remembering to yourself, it's important. So as I wanted to, because I started with the grandparents, so gratitude is also a wisdom of life, to be wise about life, to be, and of course it's also related with aspect of emotional intelligence, in my view. So which being to be self-aware of your emotions, to be able to manage properly your emotion, to be able to feel other people's emotions, to be empathetic, and to have a fulfilling human relationships. So with other words, being able to stay in this world in a joyful way and take the best of this life.
Right. But do you really think that it is really difficult for some people to actually embrace gratefulness, or maybe actually practice it? Because some people, you must have seen around you as well, they are constantly complaining, they're constantly nagging, they're just upset about something or other. If something goes right, they'll find another thing to just say, oh, this is wrong, I don't like this is not happening right. So how can those people actually cultivate this emotion of gratefulness? Because they have wired their brain so badly that they only see negative in everything, and they cannot be grateful for even like the lesser and the least important things in their life. So how can those people be helped? How can they actually cultivate this emotion? Because we can see for ourselves, many people know that they are complaining, but they don't know how to be grateful. So how can they cultivate this habit?
So first of all, I believe that it is, so the first point is it's the first stage when you are self-aware that you are just complaining, and not seeing other thing. No. Secondly, it's that when this bothers you, because if this doesn't bother you, so if you want to complain and there is no desire for you to experience another state, So it's, how can I say, it's only when a person is ready. It's about the concept that a colleague of mine from Roehampton University, Michelle Hunter, she loves about readiness. So when a person is ready for this, you can't do anything. You can't. You can, of course, you can put yourself in his or her shoes, but it is up to the other person when he's ready to do the step, if he wants to change, no? Right. So the desire, or better to change, no, but the desire to transform his life, because we cannot change. So you are going to be always Aparna. You can change also your name, but you're going to be always you, no? So, yeah. But if you want to be another version of Aparna, so to transform yourself, yeah, to dramatically change something, to transform the way of being in that moment, the person.
So you mean to say the want is very important. If you don't have the want in you, you won't really get there.
Yeah, and so, but of course, what we can do. So what we can do is practicing gratitude with others and practicing compassion with others. Right. So, and of course, who is going to? So it's a personal journey. It's you cannot constrain somebody. You cannot convince somebody. This is a personal. So even gratitude is an emotion, mm-hmm. but in a certain way, it's also a decision.
Right. Oh wow! Brilliant. Yes.
Because only at the moment that you decide to change attitude about life. So if you are happy to be unhappy,
do you think there are people who are actually happy to be unhappy?
Say again?
Like, do you really think that there are people who are really?
No, it was an exaggeration. No.
Because it is said in many movies and many, you know.
No, it was a way. It was how can I say a game of words. But people that are they don't prove gratitude, they are unhappy. So most of the research shows that people that don't feel gratitude towards a great range, because gratitude is not just being grateful to a person that did something good to you. It's grateful to the life, to the beauty, grateful to yourself. So there are so many ranges of and futures of gratitude.
Right.
So having this proneness of being grateful and not having it's how can I say it's heaven. It's a gift that we do to ourselves. It's a priceless and at the same time free natural thing that we have, and we can experience, and we have the power to it is in our control to do this.
Right. Because why I ask this question is, when you see like movies and like any series or anything, you will hear this line like often that some people are just happy to be unhappy. People just say it, and I believe like deep down everyone wants to be happy, just because they are unable to.
Of course, we are. So of course, we have also to talk about happiness. What is happiness? It is a state, or it's something that remains constant. Mm-hmm. So we have to enter in another let's say other water. No, I don't think there are people that, nobody, of course, we are naturally born to be happy, and happiness is in abundance for everyone. And as I say, so everything beautiful, it is in abundance, even in the, how can I say, the most difficult contexts and situations. We are born with abundance, so we have everything in abundance in this.
Right.
So, and I don't think that there are people that are happy to be unhappy.
Right.
But of course, what we can do. So personally, I would talk about a concept that is the ecology. So I had the occasion a few weeks ago when I was in a conversation with other people, and in a formal situation of conversation with other people about the importance of ecology, and we should care about ecology. I personally believe that before caring about the ecology, we should care about the ecology of mind. So what we can do to take care about our minds.
Okay.
And of course, spirit and body. And so, because once we take care about ourselves, so the first thing that I say. So when we take care about ourselves, we are able to take care about others and the world, because it's like, it's an equilibrium. It's also a kind of mirror. Right. So you cannot make experience to somebody else something that you didn't experience to yourself.
True. Like if you haven't really felt something, you cannot really make other person understand how it feels.
Yeah, exactly. So for this reason, all negative emotions are important for psychologists in order to be empathetic, compassionate, but in the same time, so it's like to enter and to hold the other person is also to be able to manage your emotion, negative emotion, because if you to manage, like to hold another person, you should be able to have experienced this emotion, negative emotion, by yourself, and to have managed to accept it and to manage efficiently.
Basically, like, don't run after the positive emotions. Be grateful for your negative emotions as well.
Yeah, of course. So as I say, normally negative emotions are and we cannot avoid experiments. So it's not that you stop; they just arrive.
Right.
And so, of course, negative emotions are a great source of information about what is happening in some parts of our self. And so, they are an indicator of parts that we need to take care, as we take care, for example, to a flower or to a plant. And so it's like a little child that it's crying somewhere, and of course you cannot just ignore it. You need to go to assure that everything is fine, that you are doing what it is in your power to provide safety and to provide protection.
Of course, yeah. As you just mentioned that you have to do like little things to take care of your mental health. Can you tell our audience, like, what are those little things that they can do to take care of their mental health?
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, and as you mentioned before, gratitude, journaling gratitude is a daily thing that can be done. Another thing is physical exercise, taking care about your body, doing daily physical exercises. It's very important.
Lovely.
Because it's like a kind of, it's not just the beauty, to be beautiful towards other people's eyes. Yeah. It is that you say to yourself, I care about you, you are precious to me.
Right.
Because we do a lot of things when our society is a very mind society, and we get often very detached from our body. Everything is a big mind. And we just ignore our body, but we do all things that we do thanks to our bodies.
So true.
And so doing physical exercises, it's a way of reminding our body and expressing gratitude to our body.
Right.
And also, for example, taking care about our clothes. It doesn't matter if they are like brands, but it's like to be clean. And we take with care, and we choose with care and with love. It's another way that we show love and compassion and gratitude to ourselves.
Yeah.
So all these things are in our power. or another thing is eating something. For example, I go every weekend in a market that with local products, no? And every time that I take these vegetables that are made in the area here, I feel grateful. And every time that they cook for me, it is a part of me that is grateful. So cooking for yourself, preparing food for yourself, it's an act of gratitude and respect that you have for yourself. And frequenting people that you love and you feel, wow, you feel amazed. It's a way of being grateful to the life. Or taking care of plants. So because we are nature, no, of course, now we have all these overstructures that we are, of being in the center of the world. We are not in the center of the world. No. We are part of the world. Okay. And so being grateful of every tree and every bird or every thing, every animal that you see, or every person, old person, a young one. I try to apply this in my everyday life. When I smile when I go to the park, for example, to old people, and I'm so grateful to see their smile, or and so others. So to be connect with people, it's another way that you can cultivate your well-being. So not other things. So they are doing your job. So doing your job well is another way. Doing this with satisfaction, trying to do your best, trying to be a good daughter, a good friend,
right,
a good colleague.
To, love yourself first, and the more you start embracing everything around you, the gratefulness just comes automatically.
Yes, sure. Yeah, I totally agree with you.
So we can say that gratefulness is very well connected to your well-being, which has, again, many
yes. Absolutely yes. Gratefulness is a great predictor of well-being.
Lovely. That was amazing session with you, Dr. Joana, and thank you so much for your time. Is there anything that you want to say to our community that, okay, take care of your mental health, be more grateful, anything that you want to say?
Life is beautiful.
Oh, that's so sweet. Life is beautiful. Embrace it well, right? Lovely. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Aparna. Have a lovely day. All the best with this series of activity that you had. It's a great job that you are doing to the community. So thank you very much for inviting me today.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.